astTECS, leading enterprise telecom brand.
Thank you. Okay, so hi, my name is Abu Kurian. I am head of communications at astTECS, and today we'll be talking about empowering your telephony systems through smart applications. So, what essentially we mean by this is taking a very simple or classic example is about cars. So now, say now when you want to increase the performance of your car, there are people who make small tweaks in the engine, or to increase the mileage the car gives, you add a separate different type of petrol, or again make some changes in your car. Or now, say for example, you want a louder sound in your car, you change the exhaust. So these are things that you're doing to a car or to a system to get more output out of it. Similarly, there are ways or methods or applications integrations that you can perform to your existing telephony system to get more out of the system. So by more out of the system, what I mean is more functionality, more client engagement. So improving the system would improve your overall presence in the market, improve how your customers interact with your agents or with your employees, over improve your turnaround time. So each of those would be understood, or how each change has its advantages, or how each implementation has advantages, would be better understood as we go through the webinar. So what we would be covering in this webinar is call notifications, ticket management, call from anywhere, voice bots, automation, missed call automation, post call notification, and RCS. So not to worry, all these points would be explained in detail with examples, with live demos and examples, so that everyone here understands it. If at any point you do still have a doubt while the explanation is happening, feel free to leave your doubts or queries in the comments. And what we would do is, after the webinar is done, we can come back and answer all those queries. So we would like everyone to understand this, so that maybe later on, when a client comes with a solution or comes with a problem, what you can do is you can suggest how it could be done. So let's get started. So the first one we have is call notification. So call notifications is notifying the user of the system, or the person who has the extension registered, or who has a phone on a system, that there is a call coming. So now where this would be used is generally when you have a telephony system or a phone. It is that you're not always looking at the phone waiting for a call. You would have other purposes or other functions to do, like you would be most of the time on the CRM updating leads, changing statuses. So now when a call comes, you would like a pop-up on your screen saying, yes, a call has come. And yes, a call has come, so you can attend to that call. So with call notifications, what you also have is, it would tell you details of the caller, who is the owner of the call, multiple states. So a good example of call notifications was Zoho. So I would like to tell you a few more points before we go to the example. So even when we talk about call notifications, you can, through call notifications, trace the life cycle of a call. So what I mean by tracing the life cycle of a call is, each call essentially has three stages. A call would start in ring, then move to answer, and then end or hang up. So now what the two notifications you see on the screen, the first one is your answer notification. The second one is your hang up notification. So when I show you the Zoho demo, it would be clear. It would be more clear about uh, what each of these notifications and how each of these notifications happen. Okay, so moving on to the demo, Zoho CRM is, astTECS is a proud Zoho partner. So we have done multiple integrations all throughout the world for Zoho. It does not have to be specifically that uh, it is a system installed by astTECS. Any asterisk based telecom system, we can enable Zoho and make the connection happen. So let's move to the Zoho screen. 1 second. Yeah. So if you can see here, this is the Zoho screen. So when you have a call, so for example, this is my phone number. So what first I'll show you the call notifications. Then I will, since we are at Zoho, I will show you other features of Zoho as well. So that helps everyone out. So say this is my phone number, and I have a soft phone registered. Yeah. So my soft phone 1001 is registered. So this Zoho user, what we have done is, through when we are doing our integration, we map the Zoho user to an extension. So now say I'm a user, and now there is a call. So the first call would land to the extension. As you can see on my screen, there is an incoming call that's come. I answer it, and the next call, as you can see here, comes to my uh, comes to my mobile phone or the dial number. So once I answer, the call stays. So before this, the status you saw was the ring notification. Now we are at the answer notification. As you can see, there's a timer that's running. There's the details of the caller, who's the lead owner, what is the phone number, and I can maybe write a description or any note that is happening during the call, webinar demo. So now when the call is hung up, I can hang up from my phone. I can hang up from any of the phone, or the soft phone, or the client hangs up. Any hang up, what would happen is now you're at hang up with the call duration, and the webinar, your description still holds, and then done. So now you can see I showed what I showed was essentially a call notification. So it is not call control. You're not answering and hanging up from the Zoho screen. Rather, it is notifying you of the call. So since we are, again, since I mentioned, since we are on the Zoho page, what I would like to show you is also other features where, since you have the Zoho phone bridge integrated, what will happen is all your mobile or phone fields in Zoho essentially become a single click to call button. So once our integration is done, all you would get this click to call button, like I showed you now. A single click connects you to your clients. So there is the click to call functionality. You have your call CDRs. Along with your call CDRs, what you also have is a detailed description of what has happened, as in who called, what was the duration. So as you can see, Abu Kurian call duration, my call recording, the description that was entered, all this is there in now stored within Zoho itself. So this is what the notification feature essentially does. So I hope this is clear, and we can move to the next one. Else, again, if you have any doubts, we can always come back to this. So after call notifications, there is ticket management. Now, every support center, it is vital to have a good ticketing system, because a good ticketing system essentially helps, is like a good ticketing system is the oil for a well-oiled machine. Like good ticketing system would help get better customer responses, everything. So we do have integrations with multiple ticket management softwares. So what we mean by ticket management, or how a ticket management would be integrated into a calling solution or into a support center, is say before. So even if currently the support center has a ticket management software, and a call center, and they're two different entities, how it would happen is the call would land to the call center, an agent would pick up. Once the agent picks up the phone, the agent would first ask the customer his name, number, whatever the reference is used by the agent. Once that is done, the agent would have to check its ticket management software, if there is if the customer exists. Else, no, create a new customer, then then create a ticket for the customer, enter the customer's details in the ticket, and then he can start start interacting with the customer. So now this time duration that you have between the start of the call, or when the customer starts interacting, when the customer calls and the call lands, to the actual time when the customer is actually taken care of, or the customer's queries are actually taken care of, there is a huge time difference. So rather than that, now it's without it being two separate entities, if we connect these two entities, as in you link your ticket management software to your call center, what can happen is we can automatically do this whole process. So if you can see on this side of the screen, there is the incoming call. So the graph, so this is essentially a flow of tickets. So there are multiple ways this can happen. So say the most basic case would be that when a call comes into your call center, uh, it opens a new ticket. So that is the most, so it depends. Again, the logics or the flows that I explain now can vary from customer to customer. These are just a few that we have implemented. So say a call comes based on the phone number, we would create a ticket. So that is the most basic flow. A little more advanced flow would be what's shown in the graph over here. So it is when an incoming call comes, what we would do is for that customer or for that phone number, we would check if there is an existing customer. If there is no existing customer, what we can do is create a new customer and then under that create a new ticket. Else, what if there is a customer, what we can do is check if the customer has an open ticket. That comes to this part of the call. So we're checking if the customer is present. If yes, now does the customer have an open ticket? If the customer does have an open ticket, open the existing ticket. Else, create a new ticket. Now, even at this phase, you could have multiple levels of customization. Say when if the call center has if the customer does have an open ticket, you show that. If you're creating a new ticket, what could happen is we could say they have another customer CRM system where there is customer data. We could always query that, fetch those fields and populate it within the ticket. Advantage of this is that now when the ticket is presented in front of your agent has those all the details about the customer, and now the customer actually thinks that the agent is prepared to answer his questions. So the agent already knows if there is an open ticket. Okay, sir, your last query was this, are you still calling about this? We can check about the issue is not resolved, or there will be follow-up tickets so he can see the status of the ticket. Or if say now your agent does not have to ask for, say it's an insurance company or any insurance support center, your agent does not have to ask the customer again for details such as his ID proof or anything like that, because it already populates into the ticket. So what happens essentially is that 1 minute that you're saving, it puts a good impression on the customer. And not only that, even in terms of your support center, you are not wasting valuable agent time in doing those details which can be automatically done by a system. So a uh, good example of these are Freshdesk and Zendesk integrations we have done. Freshdesk and Zendesk are very prominent ticketing softwares, and astTECS is an alliance partner with Zendesk. We are in talks of becoming partners with Freshdesk as well. So with integrations like this, what we can do is we can all support centers can use systems that make it much better or useful. So if we go through a demo, 1 second. Yeah. So as you can see, there is one. 1 second. I'm just opening. I think we just have some browser issue. Yeah, perfect.
Abu, you have to share the screen.
It's stopped. One sec. Yeah, okay.
The screen is shared,
No, one second, one second.
or we can come back to the demo. Okay, now we can see.
Yeah, you can see this. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. So what we can do is now. I can't. Give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So this is the agent page. Can you see the agent page? So this is in terms of an example where I am an agent. So I would give my agent credentials and I would log in. As anyone who's used the call center before, there would be, you would get an answer, and then now you are an agent ready to accept a call. Now, if you call the support number, I'll just make a call from my phone number. So yeah, you can see the call here. As soon as you take the call, one second, there's echo. Yeah. So now in the Zendesk screen, you can see there is a ticket created with my phone number, with ticket ID and details, and then your customer service representative can fill in the fields, submit the status of the ticket. So if the ticket is resolved on call, he can close this ticket. So features like this can be present. So I can disconnect this call. So yeah, so that is auto ticket generation. So as I explained before, it saves a lot of time in call centers when systems like this are implemented. So from ticket management, we can move on to call from anywhere. So call from anywhere is a feature that we provide to all astTECS based customers by default within their system, where it is any phone number present in any web browser can be automatically called by just selecting the number. So now what is the advantage of this is that to reach customers, it is faster. So say you are a sales agent, or you're a sales agent, or sales agents in your company would need to now go through websites and pick up numbers, dial numbers. So what would be the general process? The general process is that you have sales agents finding a number, dialing it on their soft phone or physical phone, and then making the call. Rather than that, the sales agent would just go through the page, select the number, and use our web extension. So how the web extension is used, we would, when the demo happens, it becomes more clear. So let me show you how this works. So okay, so as you can see, there is the web extension on top of my screen. So this is the web extension. Yeah, so this is the web extension. So once I show you a demo of the web extension, I will also show you how it is configured, which is even more simpler. It's a less than 2-minute configuration. So say this is the web extension, and we are on the astTECS page now. So I see this phone number and I want to get in touch with this phone number. So all I do is select the phone number, dial selected number, and that's it. The first phone would come to your call would come to your soft phone or the person who's called, the registered user. The second call would go to the person who we dialed to. So now currently it's connecting to the astTECS support center. So that is how a call is established. Now, in terms of configuring this system, it is as simple as every user in the office would have a soft phone registered. So now what would happen is you would enter your soft phone or your extension, and then you can always call into astTECS support team and ask them for your Chrome extension link. So they will provide you with the link, and you just have to enter it here and then press save. So each user the link is common for all users. It is just the extension that changes. So you can also just call in once, get the link and pass it to your organization, and everyone can install this extension and use it. So it is a free to use extension, and it is available on, as I said before, on the Chrome Web Store and on Mozilla. So hope these demos are clear. So one more thing. So one pattern I have made while creating this webinar is that any page that we have explained could also be integrated upwards. So for example, the interesting thing is that now call from anywhere when you call. Now you want that for every call, you want a ticket generated, or you want to log in the CR. So now suddenly your call notifications, your ticketing software, all of that could be connected to this single web extension, or any sort of cross integration within this. So again, if you have any doubts about cross integration between different parts we have talked today, or on a specific topic, please leave it in the chat and then we can get back to it. Yeah. So now Voicebot. So every company nowadays is pushing more towards AI and ML because it is the future and it is helping processes. So now we also have worked on AI, ML, and continue to work on AI and ML projects or AI and ML products that we want to push into the market. So Voicebot is one of those products that we have pushed into the market. So let's, while talking about Voicebots, let's break it down into 4 levels of complexity. So your basic level 1 IVR would be, say, the customer calls into your support center, and the bot prompts him, say, welcome. So you're a retail company. Assume you're a retail company, you're Amazon. So now the bot prompts him saying, welcome to Amazon. To know your order status, please input your order ID. So as soon as you enter your order ID, the bot can go fetch details of your order, bring it back, phrase a sentence, and then recite or dictate the sentence to you. So what happens is it is almost as equal to talking to a sales or a customer executive to know your order status. So this process is your level 1 or your most basic way to implement this. So now let's move to a level 2 complexity or level 2 IVR, where you have, instead of the bot asking for the customer's order ID, what we could do is, as soon as an incoming call comes, we could check for that incoming call if there is a phone number, if there is an order present. So taking the phone number, we would query the database, see if there is a order present, and then as soon as the client picks up the phone, we would tell him your order ID is so and so. So again, you're saving time, you're saving number of channels that are being used. It is a very big win for the organization itself. Now, a level 3 complexity of the Voicebot would be, say now a customer calls into astTECS call center. So now the first question would be, the first interaction the bot would have is, welcome to astTECS. Do you want to speak to sales or technical? So it is, if you notice, the phrase that the bot is saying is different from what you hear in general IVRs, because General IVR, what the phrase would be is welcome to astTECS, press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical. Rather, now what we can do is we can ask them, press 1 for sales. No, sorry. What we can ask them is welcome to astTECS. Would you like to connect to sales or technical? So now the person on the phone, without entering numbers, what he can do is he can just say sales. And then what happens is automatically the call is connected to the sales queue. So here we're using text to speech, speech to text, processing, transcription. So there are multiple models that run behind this, and all this happens in real time. So that is where the real excitement happens. So now the stage 4 IVR or a level 4 IVR is where you bring out from all the good things of a level 3 IVR, you're adding more processing where you have NLP involved. So a level 4 IVR would be, for example, when a customer calls, again, we'll take the example of astTECS. So when the customer calls, it would be, welcome to astTECS, how may I help you today? So now the customer can always say, I want to know more about PBX solutions, or I want to speak to a sales agent. So what could happen is now we would process this phrase said by the customer, pick out specific keywords in the phrase, and then accordingly redirect them. So things like, so you can also have a whole chat or a bot operation happening in the IVR. So things like, if the customer says, I would like to talk to sales, then the bot can ask him, which region sales do you want to talk to? Do you want to talk to international sales, domestic sales? Or rather than asking which region of sales do you want to talk to, we can also ask the customer, which region are you calling from? So now what can happen is, if the customer says Bangalore, then you know that you have to connect him. Automatically, the bot would connect him to the India team. So the level or the logics behind the system, the brains behind the system can always be changed, modified, made even more dynamic based on the requirement. So how complex it gets could depend on how complex the requirement is. And we have done pretty complex bot requirements in the past, and it's still running. So it's something that's doable. Now, advantages of voice bots are that now you have your team size that is considerably reduced. So what we have noticed is places where we have deployed bots, you have less load on the agents itself. So say a 100-seater call center, you would not need 100 seats anymore. You can shrink down the size of your call center, saving money, saving resources, saving say energy used, expenses, having a one-time bot solution that is running. So it is only at the final stage, if the customer's requirement is not satisfied, does it come back to an agent. So you're reducing load, and it's a way more pleasant experience. Now, another advantage of a voice bot is that in a classic IVR, you have a maximum of 9 into 9 levels, because you can enter from 1 to 9 in a level, and then within that level you can enter 1 to 9. When you talk about a voice bot, it is infinite number of levels, because now you are talking in terms of a person, you are writing logics behind the system. So your IVR could be as broad and as long as you would like it. So I hope voice bots also clear, and let's move on to automation. So automation is where your system makes calls or performs actions based on preset conditions and parameters. So in terms of a telephony solution, it would be making calls or sending SMSs or any telecommunication action. So it could be scheduled based on multiple conditions. And one example few examples I would like to take for everyone to understand this better would be examples of flight preboarding and employee onboarding. So what we can see here is your flight preboarding. So now right now the graph might look, or the flowchart might look a little complicated, but give me a few minutes and I'll explain what's happening. So flight pre-boarding, say you are a big travel agency, or you have you're a flight, say your Indigo, your Emirates, any flight agency. Now you want to improve your customer experience. Every company do small tweaks within their process to have a better customer experience, or to make sure the customer comes back to them. So customer retention is a very important thing. Customer retention can be through customer satisfaction, customer thinking that you actually pay attention to what they want. So now, say on their website they have a successful ticket booking. All the ticket bookings are saved in a database. Now what can happen is the calling server can, at a given periodic time, at periodic intervals, it can pull this data. By pulling data at periodic intervals, I mean it can be as less than, say, it pulls data every 30 seconds to as long as, say, pull every 3 hours. So the periodicity or the duration or the gap between each pull from the client server to the calling server could be defined based on how critical the process is, or how what the loads are between the servers, what is the network requirement, multiple factors. So now once a pull is happened and the data is saved onto the calling server could also send back data acknowledging that, yes, I have pulled all these records, so that in the next pull we don't get a replication of these records. Now say in a pull we have 5 days of ticket booking. So 5 days from the current day there are multiple ticket bookings, but the requirement the client says is you have to call a person or call the ticket and registered number 24 hours, 12 hours, and 4 hours. So this portion of the call is the push and pull data, or the interaction with the client system. And here the successful ticket confirmation is the only part of the system where you have human interaction. Or in now currently, since everyone books it online, you don't even, maybe not even have a human interaction. Everything is automatic. Now say now a flight is 24 hours prior. So also when we say 24 hours prior, it does not have to be a strict 24 hours prior. Say now, for example, the flight it's an international flight, it is at 3 in the morning. Now it does not make sense, or it does not look right for the system to call a person the previous day at 3 in the night, reminding him of the call. Rather than doing good, it would do harm, or it would give a bad impression about the company. Rather, what the company could say is, we would only call from 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then the 24-hour call. So a customer at 3 a.m. the next day would get the previous day, he would get a call at 9 a.m. So what would the 9 a.m. call be? The 9 a.m. call, automatic call by the system, could be calling the customer saying, okay, so we've all traveled during COVID time. So let's make this example run around the whole COVID testing. So during COVID times, we had to take COVID tests to fly. So say the 24-hour prior call would be calling the customer saying your flight is at so and so time on so and so date, so from this destination to this destination. Press 1. It is a mandatory requirement by the government to take a COVID test before flying. Press 1 if you have taken the test. Press 2 if you have not taken the test. Now, based on the customer's input, so customer would press 1 or 2, you can pass it back to the calling server. Now the calling server can in turn pass it back to the client as well. So that depends on the client process. So now after the 24-hour call, and also in the 24-hour call, you can see on top, there is a retry if the customer is not picking up. So now this retry periodicity can also be defined, as in, if the customer wants that once the call is done and the person doesn't pick up, you instantly call him again 3 times. Or You call him once. If he doesn't pick up, give him half an hour and then call him again. Give him another half an hour and then call him again. All those are preset parameters. All those could be defined by the client based on his process. So now, say the 12-hour reminder call, or this portion of the call flow would be to customers who have not pressed 2 in their 24-hour call, stating that they haven't taken a test. So the 12-hour reminder call would tell the customer, based on your previous call, you have not taken a COVID test. Would you like to have you taken a COVID test now, or is it a reminder to take a COVID test because you would not be able to fly? So again, here, if the customer doesn't pick up, we can do the retries. Retries can be performed. States of the call could be pushed back to the customer as well. Now, after the 12-hour reminder call, the client also wants that everyone who goes to the airport generally takes a taxi. So say Emirates is partnered with a taxi agency as well. So what could happen is 4 hours before, an automatic call could go asking, would you like to you have a flight at so and so time, would you like us to book a taxi for you? So, or would you like to get in touch with the taxi company? So that is this process in the bottom. So this is getting in touch with the taxi company. So if the customer says yes, we could connect him to the taxi company, and then this connection to the taxi company is another whole IVR flow where you can have automation within that. So that simple one box could be another whole set. So what this calling server sitting as the backbone is essentially doing is, it is creating an ecosystem where everything post a ticket confirmation is managed by the system, making the customer experience much better. So now, in the eyes of the customer, what is it? He has an impression that the flight cares. Flight wants to make sure he's ready to fly. Flight wants to make sure he gets to the airport on time. So next time, even while booking a flight, he would think, okay, so Emirates did do all these things for me, or Emirates has taken these precautions. Or when he's talking to a friend, he will also say, okay, Emirates before boarding my flight was talking. So you're not really getting a good impression in the eyes of the client, but when he talks, also he talks good. So another example as I said before, is the employee onboarding. Now the employee onboarding is, say you are a staffing company, or you're a large organization that hires multiple people. Now these new employees would always have to submit some sort of paperwork, and some sort of forms that have to be done for their onboarding to be complete. Now so the process, again, in this whole process, the only part where a human interaction is actually there is where the onboarding agent confirms the employee. So this is where, say, for example, if HR round or anything is done, and they enter into the system that yes, this person is accepted to join the company. Now, sorry, once that is done, the calling server, again, as I said, at predefined intervals, could pull data, pull who all are these employees that have joined, who all are the new employees, and then trigger calls. So trigger calls, it could also be another condition. Another interesting condition is time slot. So say your client works from 9 to 6, and what we can do is we can define multiple time slots. Say time slot, the first time slot will be 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Second time slot is 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Third time slot is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So now, since you have 3 time slots, the onboarding agent knows that this client or this employee is in the current job or in his new job working from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So he might not be able to pick up calls. So what they can do is they can also set a parameter in when they're confirming employees, saying call only on time slot 1 and time slot 2. So what can happen is within those time slots, or within the set time slots, we would trigger the calls. So first would be the welcome call. So welcome call, automatically the system would dial, checking his time slot, calling him. Telling him about his job description. So job description could also be, you can have multiple job descriptions. So based on what his position is, it could tell him the job description, what all papers to submit. So job things during the welcome call, things like job description and papers could submit could be dynamic. So it could be that for a given job A, you have to submit uh, 5, say your license, your passport, and your salary slip. But for a job B, you only have to give your license. Now, what we can do is even the call can have that kind of customization where we can maintain a structure that says if the job is one, describe what the job has to do and what all papers to submit. And then again, like our previous example, you could retry answers. You could retry if there is no answer. Now, where does the employee upload these documents? So post the welcome call, what could happen is we send the employee an SMS with a link, SMS, WhatsApp, anything with a link to uh, a form or any web portal where he can upload these documents. So that is the welcome call. So that becomes this portion of the call essentially. Now, once the welcome call is done, the employee can be at 3 states. He can either haven't touched or haven't filled the form at all, has made an attempt to fill the form but is incomplete or irregular data, or he's completed it. So the people who have completed it successfully or submitted everything and all the paperwork is approved, well and good, he's onboarded. We don't have to do anything about it. Now, employees, so the other two, the first and second state. So reminder call. So these two states are for what we could do is these two states are for the people who have not made an attempt to fill the form. So what we could do is reminder call after the welcome call. The next day, if he hasn't done anything, we can call him back. We can ask him, we as in the system would call him back, ask him, tell him that you haven't filled your forms, please fill your forms to get all your salary benefits or anything like that. So this reminder call could be not just once a day. It could be, say, you wanted to have 3 times a day, so you make sure it doesn't have to be just 2 days. As in, for this example, I've written day 1 and day 2. Rather, it could be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So it depends on how the client wants the process to be. Now, reprocess calls. Reprocess calls is when, say, the client has filled the form, or the new employee has filled the form, but say out of 5 items to fill, he's only filled 3, or say out of the 5, he has 1 that is an error or that is a mistake. So say, for example, say five items. He has 5 items, out of which 3 are successfully filled or 2 are successfully filled. 2 of them have mistakes and 1 is not filled at all. What we could do is, in the reprocess call, we could tell him that form 3 and 4 are not correctly filled and form 5 is missing. So the items to fill in the call, or what is the reason for his call, for his paperwork, or what he's done for his action to not qualify, could be said. So even when I said form 3 and 4 are not correctly filled, we could, the onboarding agent who verifies this could also add a comment, and then we could read the comment out saying, this is the reason why it is not filled. So now you are educating the person about why his form got rejected, what is the process behind that, and so he is more prepared to fill the form, and so this makes the process faster as well. So that is the second half of this. So so that's the second half. So I hope all of you have a clear idea about what employee or automation in general is. So yeah, so that is about automation. Now, yeah, so that is about automation. Again, if you still have doubts, still have queries on other scenarios, if it could be implemented with automation, always reach out to us. If you don't want to put it in the chat at the end, what you could do is you could have the at the end what you could do is you at the end of the webinar you could have you could contact us. My email ID, my phone number is there, so you can get in touch with us, and or you can get in touch with your respective sales agent, and then we can find out the best solution for your clients. Now, missed call automation. So contact centers would generally want to connect to everyone that has called in. Now you have missed calls. So now these missed calls are important to get back to. So how would you handle missed calls? Generally, if it's a missed call, you have a missed call list, but behind that list, you could have a lot of logic. So say now you have a missed call, the missed call is logged into the system. So incoming call is logged into the system. Now, this incoming call could be added to a list, and that the order of the list or the order of the dialing of the list could be based on multiple parameters. So it could be that the last person who called or the latest person who called gets called back first, or it could be that number of times the person has called. So that is, say, a person has called once, but another person is called 5 times. So the person who's called 5 times would have a higher priority to call, or higher priority on the list to get called back, because maybe he called 5 times because it's an emergency. So he would get called back. So now that is, so if, yeah, so that is this portion. So where the call priorities are set. So now the list is created, and then if your agents call back, that is going here. If your agents call back, you call the client's phone rings. Now it is up to you don't know if the client is picking up the call or not. So now what could happen is, there are actually 2 ways to handle this now. What if it could be that if the call center's process is that even if the client doesn't pick up the call, it is a call. So you have made an attempt to reach the person, so he's removed from the list. Or your process states that you keep calling till you get in touch with the customer. So if that is the case, that is what the graph is here. So client picked up the call. So if it's a no, he gets added back to the list. If it's a yes, he gets removed from the list because now he is attended. Now there is another interesting scenario that comes here. So another interesting scenario is the person is in the missed call list and he is waiting to get dialed. But now he calls back into the system, and then once he calls back into the system, he gets answered. So now he has already answered his inquiry, or his problem is resolved. So now there is no need to call the person back. So this missed call list would smartly remove him from the missed call application would remove him from the list, hence making it a list without him being called back again. So this improves your call center performance. So yeah, so that is about missed call lists. Then okay, so one point I forgot to mention is that when you have, say, even automation, things like this 24-hour call, press 1, press 2, or any of these. So as I said before, we have backward compatibility. So all these statuses could be pushed to CRMs, could be pushed to ticketing softwares, even missed calls. Missed calls could be pushed as a missed call ticket in your desk application, which once you call back, the ID is saved, and then that ticket ID is opened. So your missed call ticket is essentially opened as an answer ticket. So and at the end of the day, taking MIS reports, all that would be easier. Now, post-call notification. So again, following the theme of the thing, post-call notifications is what happens at the end of the call. So all the examples above were making calls, triggering calls, handling calls, managing call flows. Now, when you come to post-call notifications, it is what happens at the end of the call. It is, for example, the first one is update CDR. So you could send data such as call duration, call recording links, what is the disposition, comments, or any other details back to a system or back to the client's MIS system to manage these calls. Now, for example, updating call recordings. So updating call recordings, often we get a question that when we have call recordings pushed to say Zendesk or Zoho on their call recording option, is Zendesk or Zoho actually saving the customer's call recording? So in terms of Zoho, what happens is no, they don't save your call recording. Rather, it is Zoho Zendesk. Rather, it is a link to the file saved on your PBX. So all your data is always with you. Zoho or Zendesk or any of those applications generally only stream the file. They don't download the file, they always stream the file. So client data is saved with the client data. Now, scheduled callbacks. Scheduled callbacks could be, again, within our automation process based on the flow. Now, if you could also have an option saying remind me in 2 hours, or say I have not taken the COVID test, remind me in 2 hours, as in would you like a reminder in 2 hours, and say yes. So the system would dial back again in 2 hours and remind the customer, you had a reminder set to take your COVID test, so please take it. So reminders, callbacks, post-call SMS. So post-call, you can send the customers a lot of data. You can bring in a lot of information. For example, you have post-call SMS, post-call WhatsApp. You can send emails. You can send emails about ticket created, the field of the ticket. All this could be automatically done by the system. Now, feedback calls. Feedback calls is, so many of you would have heard when you're talking to a call center agent that after this call, you would get another call asking for feedback or asking for how your service was to rate the customer. So these feedback calls could be scheduled a post call, and then the data could be captured. This would help in measuring agent performance, how long a ticket is, how long it takes to resolve tickets. So it provides insightful information about your whole call center system. Now, yeah, so coming to the last slide, we have RCS. So RCS is something I wanted to bring at the end of this because it is something that now Google has allowed everyone to use. So RCS stands for Rich Communication Service. So more often now you see SMS or promotion ads that come to you where you have it is a graphic, there are pictures, there are clickable buttons, and this is all within your SMS application with logos, and the sender has a logo. So these are this is on your default SMS, and all new Android devices have it. It is the RCS is the Android version of iMessage. So Apple users have iMessage, Android users now have RCS, and now what Google has done is it has opened its API for anyone to use. So post call, what we can do is we can also send RCS messages. The only limitation is that RCS would only work for the whole Android ecosystem. So yeah, so that is about RCS. Now, so thank you. Again, if you have any doubts, queries, questions, you can always leave it in the chat. We would be happy to answer it. Or if you have any clients that come up with new requirements which isn't in the standard portfolio, or you can always come to us. We can check out the solutions. We can figure out the best way to solve this. So one thing we say within the R&D department is that if there is an API for the solution, or we can always integrate it with us. So new problems bring new solutions. So feel free to get in touch with us. Even during the whole webinar, if you think a client solution is merging two of the topics I've spoken today, it is possible. It is something we have again done. So let us know, and we'll find out the best way to do it. Thank you. I hope all of you liked it.
Thank you, Abu, for such a wonderful presentations and giving us a knowledge on how the applications can help us to enhance the business communications. Now, let's start with our question and answer sessions. Before starting the question and answer sessions, once again, I would remind that if you have any queries, you can just always put in the chat box, or you can just raise your hand or unmute yourself, and you can ask the question at any point of the time. So starting with the first question has come from Binesh. The question is, can we do these integrations with any of the existing PBX system in the market, or only with the astTECS solutions?
Okay, so no, so you can do this with any of the existing PBX systems in the market. So even functionalities like Zoho integration, as I mentioned, is not only purely for the astTECS systems. It is an asterisk based solution. So we have integrated it with Isabel PBX, Elastics. We have done this before, and we are open to doing it for any other solutions as well.
Thank you, Abu. I hope, Benish, your query has been answered.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. The next question has come from Mr. Vijay. What are the cost implications for introducing a Voicebot solution for a customer?
So the cost would vary on multiple factors. So it would also vary on what kind of models they are using, because so as I mentioned, you have transcribing data, you have speech to text. Now, which region he falls in, what is the complexity of the flow. So the cost would be a case by case cost. So if the client can give us the whole flow, we can, even if they want, we can break it down into what the separate costs would be for the implementation.
Okay, I hope, Vijay, your query has been answered.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, okay. The next question has come from Mr. Amulya. Can I take back the route from the Voicebot to the physical agent for some queries?
Yes, so what we can always do is we can always configure the system to say that one of the options presented to the agent at all points is if you want to talk to an agent, press 4. So from that option, he can be redirected to answer questions.
Thank you.
The next question has come from Mr. David Anthony. How did you support us, the channel partners, to promote these fantastic products to all of our prospective clientele?
Okay, we need a campaign.
And driving. Okay. Okay, Mr. David, regarding the marketing materials and the promo for any of our astTECS products, you can always connect with the marketing team and your concerned salespersons. We can discuss, and whatever the marketing materials you require, we can design and send it across to you.
And just to add David's question, I think David is specifically asking what type of campaigns we can run to promote the integrations. See, David, one thing is that now astTECS, if you ask us, every month we will be doing a few very good Soho integrations, right? Across the globe, the Soho customers, those who are using the astTECS PBX will approach us for Soho asterisk integrations, and we do those integrations. The same way, what we can do, and I think you are from Nigeria, in the country there are a lot of Soho customers, so we can have Soho and Freshdesk, Zendesk, whatever CRM scope that Abu has shown. So we can create a campaign. Maybe we will talk to the marketing team as well as the respective salesperson, and we can have a promo brochure or a banner created, which you can 1 month campaign we can do it, which you can send it to identify these type of users, maybe a Soho user list or Zendesk or Freshdesk user list, and we can send to them with the benefit of these integrations and scope of integrations. In that way, we will be able to create some buzz in the market and get some leads through that activity. So we can brainstorm and do such activities. At the same time, you can also incorporate, if you have a website, you can incorporate in your website a Soho PBX integration link. Okay. If we have to do it, you please approach us. We can give you the content, everything, and you can also incorporate, and you have some PPC, Google AdWords, you can promote it through that. So these are some additional information with regards to that. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. The next question has come from Mr. Manjunath. Is the Voicebot a license? If yes, how much does it cost?
So, like I mentioned before, the Voicebot licensing is so more than a licensing. There are like costs to using the models for the Voicebot. So it would the pricing again, the pricing of the Voicebot would be based on the features that are included in the Voicebot. The Voicebot by itself does not have a default or a base price. The price of the bot or the recurring cost of the bot would be depending on the models that the bot uses. By models, I mean what functionalities are added to the bot.
I mean, for this voice bots, is that any recording is required, or it is an auto-generated based on the text-to-speech or something like that?
So we can do it with text-to-speech. So you can, that's as I mentioned, you can make it in text-to-speech, and another advantage is the text-to-speech. The voice could be also modified region to region. So you can, for Indian users, have it in English or in Indian regional languages. Now, if what we can do is for another region, for say the American users, you could have it in the American accent. So what we could do is the language or the text to speech could also vary region to region.
You mean to say different languages also that we can use? I mean to say,
Yes.
take example now, I would like to have this in a French. I would like to have it in Arabic.
Yes.
That we can do.
Yeah, you can have it in French, Arabic. Yes, you can have it in all those. So it is. I wouldn't say all the languages. We would have to see what are feasible languages to do, and what are available languages to do. And then, yes, but we do have a wide range of languages currently so at least we do have a wide range of languages we currently work with.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, thank you. Move on with the next question is again from Mr. Vijay. What are the reports are available for these features?
Could you be more specific about which features?
Vijay, if you are there, you can unmute yourself and
I was talking about the automation, and also the bot feature, voice bot feature. What are the reports that can be generated?
Okay, so say for example, in the Voicebot feature, you could have for each incoming call at which level of the call the call is ended. So what were the responses? So your input or the customer's input and what the bot's output is. Another thing is another MIS or a good data point you could measure to know if the bot is actually working is that out of say every week, you get 1,000 calls. Now out of these 1,000 calls, how many calls are added or how many calls are ended by the bot itself, as in the customer is satisfied at the bot level. So now you know that say out of 1,000 calls, 750 calls are by the bot, and now only 250 calls are pushed to the agent. You know that now you can reduce the number of agents. Your Voicebot is actually improving processes and reducing costs.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, thank you. The next question has come from Mr. Kizito. Is the Voicebot feature currently present in omnichannel or a call center dialer? That is his first question.
Yeah, so we'll answer the first question. So the Voicebot feature, so we can integrate it with the call center dialer. So again, so the Voicebot is something that is tailored or custom made to a customer's requirement. There is no default Voicebot that you could give that works with every call center, because it is based on conditions set by the client. So if required, we can integrate it with the call center dialer. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. His second question is, the ticketing features as shown here looks more robust than the mini CRM in the call center dialer or omni-channel.
So again, so there is a difference between a CRM and a desk software. A CRM is managing customer contacts. Rather, a desk software is built purely for a ticketing process. So that is the advantage of having integrations. Through integrations, what you do is you are using the best parts of a call center, and you're using the best parts of a CRM or a ticket management software. So integration lets you use basically the best of both worlds.
Okay. The next question is again from Mr. Amulya Das. What all CRM tested integration for inbound and outbound call notifications?
So we have done it with, as Vinny said, we have done it with Zoho for a wide range of customers all around the world. Then we have done Salesforce, we have done Lead Square, and then yeah, those are a few I can think on top of my head right now. So basically, as I said at the end of my talk, anything with an API could be integrated. So say another CRM out of the box comes and they are giving us these APIs for ring answer end or just notification. It is a pop-up on the screen. We can control the or we can from the system trigger these endpoints or these APIs to have pop-ups on that as well.
Well, understood. Thank you.
Okay. Next question has come from Mr. Ray. Can you list the PABX system that are compatible with these solutions?
So you would also have to be a little more specific on which solutions are you talking about. If it is, say for example, if it is you're talking about say CRM integration like your Zoho, Zendesk, no CRM integration, and then the ticketing softwares like Zendesk, Freshdesk, we have done it not only for astTECS based clients. So we have, as I said, we have done it on Isabel, we have done it on Elastic, we have done it on astTECS. So we have done it on multiple solutions. So you would have to tell me what kind of solution are you exactly looking for to know the compatibility.
Mr. Ray, if you are available, you can unmute and little bit we can discuss more in the details if you require. It's not available right now. Okay, let's move on to the next questions. The next question is from, yeah.
Yes, the PABX is available on the market now so much, but if they can give us the exact size that they can do the integration with, I'll be much happy. Especially currently,
Ray, your voice is breaking. It's not very clear.
IP block.
Ray, can you please repeat your question again?
You're not very audible.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Yes.
I was talking about can you hear me now?
Yes.
If you can list the type of PABs that are compatible with this solution, we're much grateful, because currently we also have a solution now, a special example, IP block. Can your system do this integration with IP block?
Which integration?
Yeah, the integration you were giving us a solution.
No, so I talked about multiple integrations. So because are you talking about say Zoho, Zendesk, those kind of integrations?
Yes, the Zoho solution.
Okay, so if it is an astTECS based PBX, what happens is, for example, for the Zoho integration, we do have a set of parameters or a set of prerequisites. If those prerequisite conditions are satisfied, we can do the integration. For example, for Zoho, our prerequisites would be it needs to have a MySQL DB. It has to have PHP above 5.6. It should be an astTECS based system. So if requirements like these are satisfied, yes, we can do the integration with any of those systems.
Adding to that, maybe just to interrupt. See, when we mean PABX brands, of course, we have Panasonic, we have Siemens, we have Unify, Alcatel, quite a few of them. So see, for proprietary brands, obviously, we cannot integrate. I mean, proprietary brands, I think You have to talk to Alcatel or Siemens. Or what we are talking about is integration to asterisk-based systems, so open source systems. So that is what surely what we will be able to do. Hope it clarifies.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, moving on to next question. The next question has come from Mr. Wasim Akram. Can we integrate it with Odoo?
Again, I would like to know which integration you're talking about with Odoo, and then we would have to see if Odoo allows integration. So if Odoo does allow integrations, we would have to look into how it's possible.
Yeah, Odoo is basically an open source system. So some of the things, surely the PRBX can be integrated with Odoo.
Yeah, so we would have to know which integration.
Yeah.
Mr. Wasim, if you are available, you can elaborate on a little bit more so that we can answer to your queries. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. The next question has come from Mr. Doskan. Any chance of integration with some PABX brand? I think it's the same questions which we have attended.
Yeah, so just to answer, like Mr. Kurian said, if it is a proprietary brand, we might not be able to do it. If it is an open source astTECS-based brand, yes, we will be able to do it. And yeah.
Okay. Next is Mr. David Anthony. Thank you for response. Okay, he has a website. Okay, so we'll be sending you the content, whatever the contents you require, Mr. David, after discussing with your respective salesperson. Next, moving to the next questions, is from Mr. Frank Davids. It looks as though the part of the system is hosted by your company. If that is correct, how do you secure your client data?
Okay, no, so the part of the system is not hosted by our company. So when we deploy servers, so in a hosted PBX, yes, the data is stored by us, but say generally if you're using a on-premises PBX or on-premises call center solution, the server is within your premises. So what the data security, all that is your networking team, your team that manages all the client data as well. So once we deploy an on-prem system, we do not have access to your data. Your data is safe with you. Even in terms of deploying a cloud solution, we don't interfere with client's data at all. It is secured that even the server is not within our office. It is in a data center. It is in a very secure data center with high network protocols as well.
I hope, Mr. Frank, your query has been answered. So we have come almost to all the questions. I think since long, Mr. Prince is trying to ping us. Mr. Prince, if you have any questions, you can just unmute and ask the query. Okay. So we have come to an end of the question and answers. If anybody has any question, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself before we wrap up. So I think looks like all the query and the questions has been answered. So once again, thank you so much everybody for joining us today's webinar sessions. We will be sending you the recording of the webinar to your email and along with the newsletter on the same webinar topics. And next month we'll be coming out with another webinar. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you once again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.